best ways to take care of yourself. From routine visits to the joys of pregnancy to the illnesses that stop you in your tracks, Iredell Health System will be by your side. Learn more at iredellhealth.org.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
I need some real talk. Oh, I need some real talk. Give me some of that real talk.
Today's Real Talk, the show focused on North Carolina real estate. Justin Ckezepis, Claudia Ogrizek of Compass Real Estate, back again.
Hello.
How's it going? What's going on with the market? Anything fun?
Everything crazy.
Or have you been at home doing absolutely nothing, sitting with the family, not answering the phone?
Actually,
I'm reprimanding you on behalf of Kevin now at this point.
I had a pretty great weekend for my standards.
Okay.
I got a new listing.
Oh.
I got to suck at tennis with Kevin and Nina.
Okay, perfect.
Because I'm not going to say I play tennis.
The highlight of the weekend.
I like
there we
it,
go.
but I hosted an open house.
Okay.
And I had some showings with buyers. So
Did
listing, buyers, family, open house.
Open house of one of your listings or someone else's
one
listing?
of my friends' listing with Compass.
So do open houses still work in the marketplace? Tell the truth.
I am a huge fan of open houses for all the reasons. Yes, they do work. And I sell a bunch of my listings and other people's listings during open house. I have a great relationship with open houses.
What you just get? Is it just practice for you? Is you just love taking reps and just seeing more buyers, and that's pretty much it?
Yes, I think when I have my listings, even though I don't do dual agency, meaning if a buyer comes without an agent, I don't like to take both sides at the same time because I think you can't do your job. But I like meeting people, and I think when my listing, I'm hosting my listing, I'm the one who knows the most about the house. So I am literally selling my house to buyers. And when I'm hosting for other agents, of course, let's be honest, yes, I'm trying to sell the house, but also try to get unrepresented buyers. You
think I missed the shot you just fired across the bow for the NAR settlement right there, where you're talking about representation like it was no big deal. So what's going on? Is everybody panicking yet over the settlement and everything?
You mean the agents or the
Sure.
clients?
You tell me.
I think everybody. No, I really think that agents, we are trying to figure out what's going to happen and how the actual market will react. My experience, because I've been training and practicing with my clients, most are okay with the way things were. So they are still sellers are still okay with how the commission split works, and they understand the market value includes the commission. But actually, the listing I got this weekend, the seller does not want to offer buyer commission. So I had the conversation. I explained what I believe.
This was potentially your listing.
It is my list.
Okay.
I got the listing, and I'm going to get the paperwork ready today or tomorrow. It's going to start as a private exclusive only for Compass clients. But he's not offering, he does not want to offer buyer.
So you're going to work through this. You're going to find out what it is like when a seller doesn't want to offer commission.
Yes. So I gave him the pros and cons according to what I believe, what I believe is going to happen. He wants to test it at least while we are a private exclusive, and depending on how successful or not we are, we might change and then offer buyer's agency commission if we need to hit the MLS. But yes, this is the first time. Every other listing, all the other listings I've had in the past few months, and while the conversation is happening, my sellers were gladly offering the buyer. Gladly. They say it's how it works. It's okay. We understand it's part of the sales price. Let them bring a buyer. So this is the first time I'm dealing with a seller refusing or trying to not. And I explained that very likely the buyer agent will send an addendum with the offer, but he wants to test and see what happens.
Okay, that being one side of the market, listings. What about the buyer's market? What's been going on? What's cooking? What's hot? What's not? What's going on?
The craziness, as usual, if a house is priced right, multiple offers. I had one of my clients bid on a house. It was multiple offers, houses that are overpriced. I also had clients look at a house that I believe is at least 5% overpriced, and it's waiting because it's overpriced. So my clients didn't love it to the point of offering.
So just not even throwing out a low ball
No,
anymore.
they don't want to,
That
not
not
for
even being
now.
there.
No, because I feel that many times buyers are,
And low ball being relative, right? Like low ball could
yes.
be
Oh, yeah.
market value.
Mm-hmm. Which I believe the house is like 20,000 above market value in the condition it is. And they believe that if a seller is overpricing, it's probably going to be a seller that's difficult to deal with anyway. So many buyers say, you know what? This person clearly doesn't understand the market, clearly doesn't understand how it works. Let's move on. So they're not ready to put an offer.
Haven't even bought me a drink yet. My gosh, causing problems in my life.
Well, but people have to understand both sides, agents, clients, that when you get the right agents, the price will be the right one for the market and the deals will happen.
It's something important to know, right? Because a ready, willing, and able buyer meeting a ready, willing, and able seller at a price that the seller will accept is the market. And you never know just because someone is coming onto the market right now for a particular reason. Are you finding people are selling because they have to sell or because they want to sell, right? Because if you have to sell, then it's definitely not your fault with the prices in the marketplace.
I think now, of course, I don't have the numbers, but I would say most people that are selling because they have to. Because they have to move, because someone passed, because they are being relocated. I don't think many people are selling just because. What we had in 2020, 2021, when people were like, okay, market is crazy, multiple offers, put the house on the market and see who pays. And we did sell a bunch of houses like this. We had people coming from California, from New York, they would pay whatever. And I remember, and I had clients that said, just put it on the market. If we get what we want, just for fun. And houses were selling just for fun. But now, because of interest rates are so high, it's not the same. I still think it's a seller's market, but at the right price. Not just like crazy like COVID times.
And what is that price point? What are you seeing as far as inventory on the market right now? What's the best if you're in what price point? And if you need to tie a particular geographic territory to, what give me the two.
I can't, it's too broad. I'm talking about the great Charlotte area, the metropolitan
So you're
area.
saying be wide open on location, X number of miles outside of Mecklenburg County. That's what you're.
So, yes. I think it's important.
Give it all a chance.
Yes, it's important to know that you can find amazing houses for a fair price if you open your mind a little and drive 10 extra minutes.
How mad are the people of Belmont that you ratted out that their spot is great and now that the place is crazy? I mean, tell me where we're at with that.
They love me because even though I'm telling it's not the same as it used to, I am advertising Belmont and I still love Belmont. I was there last week. It's as awesome as it's ever been, just more expensive, but it's still doable. I just saw before I came here the most expensive house in Gastonia ever. I mean, it's been listed for more than a year. I had no idea. $6 million, I think. Yes. Oh, but it's like 15 acres, a huge. I remember when they were building that house, and I always thought, my gosh, let me take a look at this house. It's humongous. So.
Well, you know what else we have to look at in the market as far as numbers?
Know.
More or
I
less.
don't know.
More or less. That's what we're going to look at. 500,000 or less in Mecklenburg County, active and coming soon in the local MLS. How many units are available? More or less than last week.
Yes.
Do you have an
we
answer?
don't know.
Do you know? Oh, we don't know. Okay. Also, Maintenance Monday.
Yes.
You got to take care of the asset. You got to take care of it.
We're going to talk about pests.
And we have a guest,
We
Candice
do.
Shepard.
I know.
Shepard Law, hanging out in studio, ready to rock and roll. Today's Real Talk coming back. Claudia Ogrizek of Compass Real Estate.
Stay with us. Today's Real Talk with Claudia Ogrizek and Justin Ckezepis will be back after these messages on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, kicking off a new week and the final week of June without much relief from the heat. Plenty of sunshine today as temperatures climb back up into the mid-90s. Those feels like temperatures once again a little closer to 100. So if you're outside, drink plenty of water, take frequent breaks, go inside, cool off for a while if you have to work outside. It's just all in an effort to keep you safe. And looking ahead, we may get a little better shot at some pop-up showers and thunderstorms by the middle of the week, but staying hot for a while. That's your forecast. From the WSIC Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The WSIC app is available now wherever you get your apps, featuring local deals from great local businesses like iCats Public Transit.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Langtree Live. Get your weekend off to an early start on Thursday night. The Carolinas' premier Beatles tribute band Tangerine Trees covers many well-known songs and a few obscure ones. Event time is 6:30 p.m. with the concert beginning at 7. Bring your chairs to Langtree on Thursday, June 27th for Beatles tribute band Tangerine Trees. Birkdale's Live Under the Oaks concert series continues on Friday. The ultimate 90s experience from Gump Fiction begins at 6 p.m. Kick back and relax on the green in front of the stage at Birkdale Village in Huntersville for the free Gump Fiction show on Friday night. Downtown Statesville welcomes live music this weekend. On Friday, Wine Maestro showcases a performance by Danny Wicker at 7 p.m., while Delaney's Sports Bar presents Bryce Reese at 8 p.m. Visit Downtown Statesville Friday night for live music at Wine Maestro and Delaney's Sports Bar. The Kane Center for the Arts, Week 4 of summer camps begins Monday, July 8th. Morning and afternoon camps for ages 5 to 15 include ceramics, drawing, art, food, painting, and more. The fall performance season begins Saturday, September 7th with a show by comedian Tom Cotter. For more information on the just announced fall performance schedule and summer camp programs, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. The Cookout Summer Shootout Series revs up summertime at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The 10-race series nights 5 and 6 are on Monday, July 1st and Tuesday, July 2nd. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for tickets, details, and information. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Now, more of today's Real Talk with Claudia Ogrizek and Justin Ckezepis on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Today's Real Talk, the show focused on North Carolina real estate. Justin Ckezepis, Claudia Ogrizek of Compass Real Estate. All right, so you had a seller that said, I don't want to pay a buyer's agent commission at all. And so it's sticking as an exclusive listing within Compass.
Yes.
And you ready to set the industry on fire? Is that it? Are you who are you mad at in the equation? I guess first, let me ask that.
I can't say.
Okay.
Because I don't want to be sued. But I'm just gonna say, I do not believe that actual sellers were upset. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't believe sellers were upset or didn't know. Maybe one or two sellers had a lousy agent, but people know how it works. So I do not believe that the first idea of suing the National Association of Realtors, the firms, came from actual sellers.
Oh, we can
people.
look. You know, I live on Twitter, and it's a deep state mind my whole day. Okay, if you want to go into the whole conspiracy theory behind it, we can. But the fact is, it's happening, right?
Yes, it is
and you are
happening.
experiencing a seller saying, "I am not paying a buyer's agent commission." Now, it was always negotiable from the front end.
Exactly.
It always has been negotiable. That's the part about it. It's nothing new as far as even to our local area. I'll keep it on our local area,
Especially
even with
here.
the MLS, with the realtors, with all of these things. There's nothing here that they haven't tried to already do. Now, what does happen as of August 17th, though, compensation gets removed from the MLS. It has to, as long as whatever MLS you're at, as long as they've come on board with this settlement, then August 17th to date, publicly, that they got to get rid of it. Will that affect your day-to-day on when you search and look at properties in the MLS?
It's just going to make it harder because whenever my buyers want to see a house, I have to call the listing agent and ask. And if they're not offering, I have to ask if they would be okay, send an addendum, talk to my buyer. So it adds, even though I know all firms, my firm they are preparing like websites specifically for, I guess, agents to check where the commission, if there are any, will be posted. So for me, it's just silly not to put on MLS. People can still offer the commission. It will still happen, whether by email, by text, or on the firm's or company's websites. But
is that what Compass is?
Yes,
is Compass
they are
going
prepared,
to? Okay,
yes.
yeah, which is completely allowable. It is allowed as long
Yes.
as it's not coming from the MLS.
I see it makes no sense to stop it on MLS. What is the difference? It's there. It's going to we're going to have to talk about it. So what is the difference? I actually think it's better to put on MLS. So make it public so buyers know. Actually, I don't think if people look at Zillow or something, if they can see if a commission is being
it's only
offered.
I don't think that's an IDX.
So
I mean,
why
it may
not?
be
If
an
the
IDX. I
problem
don't know
was
off the top of my head.
people not being aware, so make it public. One of the things people can see on any site is how much the buyer agent is being. I think it actually offers more disclosure and honesty and knowledge. So instead of not having it on MLS, which is only affecting the agent seeing and making us call the other agent, why not make the public know how much commission is being paid? Then we are talking about transparency, and then we're talking about the public being
Oh, so you
protected.
think that everybody should say,
Yes.
hey, yes, and so everyone knows,
Yes,
and that's how you make it.
If paying commission is a problem, so make people know what's going on.
So commissions are public then,
Yes.
completely.
But yes, I don't know all firms, but I know Compass is preparing something that at the Compass site, there will be commission. I don't know if it's going to be public access, but
Do you see it playing out? So this is hypothetically how I think I see it practically in the marketplace playing out. Seller concessions, as far as seller paid closing costs, we end up seeing that as a negotiation tool here because the buyer's loan becomes a factor. The buyer in VA loans cannot pay commission. There's and whether or not the Fed changes and certain rules are done and whatever, and whether or not it's possible, maybe each lender might be a little different, right? But not having commissions listed on a buyer. So do you see that being a problem on a closing disclosure at all anywhere in there?
I do. And I also think that not being truly transparent and using this excuse of not having an MLS will end up, unless the industry can figure it out how to, it's just hurting buyers. I don't see any benefit. It hurts buyers because then an option, I'm a buyer, I can't negotiate with the seller, so they refuse to do it. I want to pay my agent. I trust my agent, but I don't have the money because all money I have in the bank is being used for down payment for closing costs. I have no option of either. My options are either not get the house I want if I can't have the extra money for my agent and the seller is refusing to pay my agent, or be forced to be unrepresented. Because then, let's say I don't have an agent, I don't have to pay commission. And then it's me, a regular person, dealing with a listing agent that knows how to do everything. And I don't. And I'll have to pray that everything goes well and that the listing agent is being ethical and fair. Makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me.
Do estates hurt buyers in the closing process? Like if an estate randomly pops up in the middle of a transaction, does that hurt?
Hurts the whole.
Who I don't know. You tell me.
Oh,
Can it hurt?
of course, yes. I'm dealing with my first and hopefully last death by a seller. The husband passed when we were under contract, and they were not ready for it. The wife did have a power of attorney, but the power of attorney dies with the person. And from that moment on, I mean, I was lucky, or we were lucky, because the buyer has been awesome and the buyer agent. And this is something else, like a buyer, let's say in the future, you can't have a buyer agent, you are unrepresented, and something like this happens. Who's going to help you? Who's going to guide you to explain how things can work? So I'm dealing with something like this. They didn't have a state planned. And we were lucky that the buyer agent have been great, and we are closing tomorrow, about 30 days after the actual closing day. But it was, in the beginning, I was like, oh my God, how will this happen now? Because they were not ready. So it's, the wife she had to grieve, but then she had to deal with the paperwork and the documents and the money and the attorneys, and not something you want for your family.
Speaking of attorneys, let's bring on Candice Shepard of
Yes.
Shepard Law, because I'm also going to get to this estate planning portfolio binder I
have
see
it
in front of
right
me right
here,
here.
yes.
But for now, that unique time of in a residential closing transaction, Candice, and an estate occurs. Is there a commonality? Is it just sheer panic most of the time, or what usually happens in that when you see it?
It's always panic. Yeah. I mean, unless people are prepared, it's panic. And I'm gonna just interject and say it's probably not gonna be your last death during the middle of a transaction.
She hopes it's the last one.
I
That's what
hope.
she knows.
I can hope, but yes, I
know.
know.
Yeah, the only way to prevent pure chaos is to be prepared for it, because we cannot. We're not promised tomorrow. None of us are getting out of this alive. We have no idea if we're going to make it to closing without somebody passing away. So the only thing to do is be prepared for the worst and hope for the best.
And so when this type of situation happens, Candice, what's it like on the closing side? What is it that you have to kind of stop and think about? What does that change? Because you have to step in and manage expectations at that point a lot of the times, I would imagine.
Yeah, and listening to you say it was only a 30-day delay, that's pretty impressive. We're doing one similar. It was supposed to close 3 months ago, and the county that the individual passed away in just can't seem to get the estate opened. So it's going to cause significant delays and lots of panic, and like you said, grief mixed in with it. It's just a whole thing. So better to be prepared. I think the way to prepare for it is either to have some survivorships or have your estate plan up to date.
Yes. Yeah, and just I brought it so I can show it. I have the whole thing ready. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I saw Candice in an event talking about estate planning and everything else. And I am very aware, I know it's kind of weird, but I've had it in me. I am very aware of death and how fragile life is. And I know it might sound weird, but I read once an article that says people that are very aware, like I am, are usually happier than the ones that don't think about it. I am aware I'm going to die. I don't know if it's tomorrow or 30 years from now, but because I am aware, I take care of my life. I enjoy moments. I don't take anything for granted. But at the same time, knowing it's going to happen, and it could happen today as I leave the studio. I have everything ready. Kevin has everything ready. I just realized, and then we can talk about it, my daughter just turned 18 and she needs now something for her. And the people that are involved not only know they are involved, they know exactly where this will be found in case they need it. So I have everything ready, because it's the grief, like you lost someone you love, or you leave and your family is behind suffering, and then you have the burden to deal with attorneys and the money and everything else. And I'm not only talking about real estate, I'm talking about everything you have, that you should have a plan so it makes it less difficult for the family, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the big part of it, is that you don't know what you don't know, and if you're prepared for all of it, then whatever comes about is going to make it a lot easier on the people who love you. They don't have to worry about what did she want in this scenario, or how do we handle this now that she's gone, because you've prepared it for them. So now all they have to do is execute your wishes and walk through that grieving process. It's not they don't have the chaos on top of the grief and the challenges and the issues that are stopping them from doing what you wanted done, because you prepared for it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And not only that, I think some people talk about, let's say, oh, I have the power of attorney, but the power of attorney dies with the person.
Correct.
So
yeah.
This also happened in my deal here. He passed, and she's like, it's fine, I can sign, I have the power of attorney. And I'm like, no, because the power of attorney dies with the person.
Yeah.
So people have to be aware that, yes, power of attorney is good, but it's not everything.
Well,
you
and
need.
I'm making an assumption here. You say it's a husband and wife. I'm assuming that the wife wasn't on title, which is also a problem.
No, she was not.
Yeah, that's another problem, because when you're married to somebody, when you have a partnership to do life together, there are certain things that you have to take care of together.
And we'll talk more about that.
Yes.
But we got to do what we got to do.
We got to do.
And you got to have a great professional to walk you through a transaction. Claudia Ogrizek, Compass Real Estate, here to walk you through your transaction, even if you die.
Even if you die.
There's more of today's Real Talk with Claudia Ogrizek and Justin Ckezepis on the way from 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, kicking off a new week in the final week of June without much relief from the heat. Plenty of sunshine today as temperatures climb back up into the mid-90s. Those feels like temperatures once again a little closer to 100. So if you're outside, drink plenty of water, take frequent breaks, go inside, cool off for a while if you have to work outside. It's just all in an effort to keep you safe. And looking ahead, we may get a little better shot at some pop-up showers and thunderstorms by the middle of the week, but staying hot for a while. That's your forecast. For the WSIC Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Are you in constant pain, under constant stress? Just need a moment away? Repeat after me. Serenity Now Massage Therapy. SerenityNowMassageandWellness.com, with locations in Mooresville and Cornelius.
Hi, this is Joshua Dobie. Join me Thursdays at 4 p.m. for Dollars and Cents, a show that focuses on your personal financial journey and the markets around us. That's Dollars and Cents, Thursday afternoons at 4, here on WSIC.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. NVIDIA stock continues to drop just days after becoming the most valuable company in the world. The stock has fallen over 5.5% today and is on track for its third straight negative session. Over the 3 days, NVIDIA has slid 12%, putting it past the 10% correction threshold. The losses have erased $400 billion in market capitalization, dropping it below $3 trillion and behind Microsoft and Apple in size. In an effort to stem losses in its online business, Paramount Global is raising the price of its streaming services. Paramount Plus, which is ad-free along with Showtime, will increase by $1 to $12.99 a month, while Paramount Plus Essential, which has ads, is going up $2 to $7.99. The changes will take effect on August 20th for new customers and September 20th for existing customers. MGM Resorts International's subsidiary Leo Vegas Group is reportedly buying Tipico's U.S. sportsbook and online casino. The Malta-based Tipico will wind down its U.S. operations before the deal closes. I'm Dan Schwartzman, Bloomberg Radio.
Today's Real Talk continues now. Here are your hosts, Claudia Ogrizek and Justin Ckezepis on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Today's Real Talk, the show focused on North Carolina real estate. Justin Ckezepis, Claudia Ogrizek of Compass Real Estate. More or less this week, what do you think? More or less, 500,000 or less, Mecklenburg County active and coming soon in your local MLS. What do you think compared to last week?
It's the same.
It's the same?
It's the same.
Oh, I don't know. Might be. It's
It
very
might
low
be.
numbers. What was the number last week again? You were supposed to keep up with that. I don't remember.
I think you were supposed to.
I lost the sticky note. I even
Where's
said
the
I was going to
AI?
keep the sticky note.
There's
Ugh.
the AI
We're-
technology to do it.
We're also going to have Maintenance Monday. We gotta
Yes.
get a look and make sure we understand what we should be doing to maintain the asset.
And it's a perfect time to talk about it
Sure.
because of the summer. It's
Oh, yeah.
pests. They are well and alive, so we're going to talk about pests.
Okay, we're gonna do that, but we gotta keep going on this concept of estates. Estates
Yes.
happen in the middle of transactions. You can plan for an estate. Candice Shepard of Shepard Law here joining us. Candice, what are some options for people like if they're thinking like, does it have to be super complicated to prepare for an estate situation?
You're talking about when somebody passes during a transaction or just in general?
Well, in case something were to make things easier, if in the event you do pass away, and is it a super complicated process to put together an estate?
Yeah, so just in general, no, it's not. But for the love of all that is good and holy, please do not do it on an online platform because you're just not going to do it right, and then it's going to be a whole mess. And that's even worse than if you did nothing at all. So yeah, no, it doesn't have to be hard. There's there are certain things you really need to have and other things you really don't. And a good legal representation will tell you, based on your situation, your scenario, what's going to be best for your family.
Can I ask like a civilian question?
Of course.
Because of course here we have two attorneys talking about attorney stuff. If there's an easy way to explain to people the difference between, let's say, have your will, your power of attorney, and your state, Do we need it all?
So that's a big, big, big question, and I appreciate the question. I'm going to give you the the dime answer because I could go on forever on that. So an estate plan is planning everything that you need in order to take care of your estate, which is your assets, your person, your children, things like that. Most of my clients have both a will and a trust. Everybody's going to need some kind of powers of attorney, healthcare power of attorney, to manage legal, financial, healthcare, etc. If you are living but incapacitated and you need somebody to help you, that gives your person the option to step in and help you without having to go to court to get permission to help you. The rest of it is for when you pass away. What happens to your stuff? What happens to your kids? What happens to your dog? What are we going to do with all of this now that you're gone? So that's in a nutshell. That's what.
And that,
you need.
as you said, it includes what happens to my kids, and I'm assuming only minors.
Minors, yes.
Money in the bank, real estate, personal items, clothes, anything. Like you could have everything
spelled out.
And this is a state.
Don't forget your dog, right? You have a dog too, don't you?
I have 2 dogs.
You have 2 dogs.
Yes.
Don't forget your dogs like that.
Of course not. But this is part of estate planning.
Correct. Yes, the estate plan is the whole bulk of all of the stuff that you're going to do to prepare everything.
And do people have to follow whatever? Let's say I have my estate planning saying exactly what I want.
Oh yes,
do the executor?
The executor, the trustee, whoever's left behind has to do what you've said.
They have to do it. Who's watching them?
The court. Yeah.
Okay.
If you go through probate, the court is going to say this is what Claudia wanted, and we're going to do this. If you have a trust, the court it bypasses that need for the court to be involved, and then your trustee has to do what is specified in your trust. And the only people really looking at that are beneficiaries. Hey, mom wanted me to have X amount of dollars for college. I'd like that, please. Mm-hmm. So those kind of things.
Now, cost-wise, and again, I'm talking about people need to know because many times I feel that people don't have anything done because they are afraid of the cost. Mm-hmm. And I know there is a cost, but let's say I don't have anything ready. I die. My family has to go through probate and hire an attorney versus me paying for estate planning. And you don't have to give me numbers, but do you have an idea of how much more it is?
First of all, I'll say that roughly 73% of the American population has nothing in place. So if you have nothing, you're in good hands, or you're in good company. So no shame there. But you're going to end up paying less for the estate plan, just figuring out dollars, than you would pay for your family to have to go through probate, because it's coming out of your estate. You're the bulk of your assets either way. If you have your estate plan in place, you'll pay for it up front. It's going to save your family dollars, actual physical dollars on the back end, but you're also going to save them a lot of the chaos and the heartache and the headache that's going to come along with trying to figure it out without your input.
And I'm sure time-wise, the same thing. If you have everything ready, it's much faster.
Much faster.
Any idea of?
So if you have a trust and almost everything passes through the trust instead of probate, you're talking zero days. If you have, it's all dependent on the county and what their workload is. So some counties are doing things relatively quickly. Other counties are taking months and months and months and months to get it done.
There's also the concept of in the deed, right, where joint tenants by the right of survivorship, husband and wife, right? Those are a couple ways you can see it said. There's ultimate protections, right, of passing that interest. Now, you mentioned in your current transaction that the wife was not, who outlived, the surviving spouse, was not listed on the deed?
By coincidence, yes. Yeah. He had bought the house before he married her.
Yeah, and in the real estate world, if she had been on the deed, they would have just trucked right along and closed on time. And
I know, this is crazy. And this is what I've been talking to my clients about. It's be sure everything is right.
Right.
Because, something that should have been, let's say,
simple,
easy in terms of transaction was not, because the documents were not ready. And I do know it's the same thing with the crawl space. People don't go to the crawl space. They don't review documents expecting they're going to die. So,
right.
Well, and sometimes too, you have the people who think they know why they want to keep things separate, but they don't really understand that, you come from out of state, and North Carolina is very specific. Every state is specific with their real property laws and estate laws and how things pass. And, all the some things matters, or where did you live at the time you passed? Maybe even depending on the time, right? Like there's certain things that come into play. So having the professional. So what about this was a seller who passed? So buyer side. Candice, when you hear that that's going to happen in a transaction, let's say a buyer calls you, because inevitably the buyer's going to call, right? Like I got a loan coming up. Oh my gosh, I got to close. I paid for an appraisal. I paid for due diligence. How do you help manage expectations in all of that kind of scenario?
So the first thing I do is find out what county we're going to be in. That makes a big difference. And did he or she who passed away have a will or anything in place? Because those are going to be the big things. I've one in a county that's taking a very long time. So we're 90 days past closing, and the estate hasn't been opened yet.
And this is what county?
Mecklenburg.
Of course. Is Mecklenburg the hardest one here?
No, actually, no. Usually Mecklenburg is really, really fast, but for whatever reason, this one is taking forever to get opened. So.
Actually, mine is in Mecklenburg, which is
and you got it done in 30
days. And
days.
my clients are in Pennsylvania, actually. So we had to connect the attorneys in Pennsylvania with the attorneys here and do the whole thing in 30 days.
Yeah. So as far as managing expectations, the expectation is there is no standard.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But once again, the importance of having an agent, and I do have an awesome agent on the other side, but because there's a lot being done in the background that people don't realize. So if you opt not to have an agent, yes, most deals should be easy enough, but you never know.
You never know what you're going to come up against, and the best agent is going to be able to head off some of the challenges and deal with them when they pop up unexpectedly. Yeah.
Have you been on the, I'll say, I guess, listing side when there's been a estate? Is this your first estate? Because you're on the buy side of this.
No,
one.
I am the listing.
Oh, you
agent.
are on the listing side of this.
Agent,
Okay,
yes.
so your situation's unique. Has there been any conversation about other heirs beyond the surviving spouse?
Yes.
Okay. So that comes into play, right?
Let's not talk about it.
Right,
Yeah.
well, that comes into play as well, right? When you're talking about
Yes.
not being listed on the deed a particular way, when you died, it only transfers to whatever way it's supposed to.
Think about it. It's the second wife.
Sure.
Oh, golly.
Yes, and the kids calling me, and I had to say, hey, I'm sorry, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. I'm not an attorney. I don't know what you want to hear from me. She's my client. Your dad was my client. She is my client. You're not. I'm not going to talk about anything. Call the attorneys.
Now, there is the concept in the contract, at least Form 2T, that talks about estates the contract continues regardless of an estate scenario. So that is one of the advantage. Did both spouses sign the contract?
Yes.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay, so you at least have that from that perspective.
Yeah.
So having even seen paperwork where that's not buttoned up, right, where you'll have, let's say, a married couple who are on a property together or not together, and only one of them signs a contract. You ever run into that, like sellers who want to fight or buyers who want to fight the way they list a name on a contract or anything? Do you ever deal with that?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Knock on wood, I hope. But no, but I'm sure you have plenty of examples of errors and craziness happening.
Yeah, especially when you get into property that is passing by from heirs and whatnot. Just, why does my husband have to sign? He's not an heir. He gets none of the probate money. Just all kinds of crazy stuff.
Do you remember, let's say, the hardest number of people that had to sign, the highest number of people signing?
I think in 2016, I had 8 heirs. 7 of them had spouses. 1 of them was in prison. 1 of them was homeless. And so we're talking, 15 people that had to sign.
And you have to find them.
We had to find them.
Somehow.
Yes, somehow.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and to make it harder, it was the dad who had passed, and there were 3 different mothers involved. And he had passed probably 15 years before the closing. So it was a mess. We got it done, though.
Good.
Yeah.
That's why I have you. That's why I called you to come here.
You've got to have a professional in the transaction. You also have to know, is it more or less?
It's the same.
Oh, thinking it's the same. $500,000 or less in Mecklenburg County and the surrounding counties. We can look at any county you want to, but $500,000 because of wages, because wages matter in the local marketplace. Candice Shepard hanging out with us, too, talking a little estates and closing transactions.
We'll be back with more of today's Real Talk, hosted by Claudia Ogrizek and Justin Ckezepis, in just a moment on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, kicking off a new weekend, the final week of June, without much relief from the heat. Plenty of sunshine today as temperatures climb back up into the mid-90s. Those feels like temperatures once again a little closer to 100. So if you're outside, drink plenty of water, take frequent breaks, go inside, cool off for a while if you have to work outside. It's just all in an effort to keep you safe. And looking ahead, we may get a little better shot at some pop-up showers and thunderstorms by the middle of the week, but staying hot for a while. That's your forecast. From the WSIC Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Langtree Live gets your weekend off to an early start on Thursday night. The Carolinas' premier Beatles tribute band Tangerine Trees covers many well-known songs and a few obscure ones. Event time is 6:30 p.m. with the concert beginning at 7. Bring your chairs to Langtree on Thursday, June 27th for Beatles tribute band Tangerine Trees. Birkdale's Live Under the Oaks concert series continues on Friday. The ultimate 90s experience from Gump Fiction begins at 6 p.m. Kick back and relax on the green in front of the stage at Birkdale Village in Huntersville for the free Gump Fiction show on Friday night. Downtown Statesville welcomes live music this weekend. On Friday, Wine Maestro showcases a performance by Danny Wicker at 7 p.m., while Delaney's Sports Bar presents Bryce Reese at 8 p.m. Visit Downtown Statesville Friday night for live music at Wine Maestro and Delaney's Sports Bar. The Kane Center for the Arts Week 4 of summer camps begins Monday, July 8th. Morning and afternoon camps for ages 5 to 15 include ceramics, drawing, art, food, painting, and more. The fall performance season begins Saturday, September 7th with a show by comedian Tom Cotter. For more information on the just announced fall performance schedule and summer camp programs, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. The Cookout Summer Shootout Series revs up summertime at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The 10-race series nights 5 and 6 are on Monday, July 1st and Tuesday, July 2nd. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for tickets, details, and information. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Now, more of today's Real Talk with Claudia Ogrizek and Justin Ckezepis on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Today's Real Talk, the show focused on North Carolina real estate. Justin Ckezepis, Claudia Ogrizek of Compass Real Estate. And now the time has come. More or less, is there more active and coming soon units available on the market, 500,000 or less in Mecklenburg County as compared to last week?
Even though we once again forgot to write it down.
What do you want to go with as the baseline?
1,300.
See, it's funny. We can say whatever number you want because in a county with a population of 1.1 million, and there's only 13, we're saying 1,300? All right, 1,300 is a baseline with more or less than 1,300. Active and coming soon, 500,000 less. More, Claudia Ogrizek says.
Yes.
You are correct. Yay! 1,321 active and coming soon listings in Canopy MLS 500,000.
500 or less in Mecklenburg.
In Mecklenburg County.
Okay. But we are not, I just thought about it, we're not talking about anything under 500, meaning it could be a trailer, it could be
single
anything.
Single family.
Wide, double wide,
sure.
Trailer, anything.
Like you tell me, can you search for double wide in the MLS?
Yes, of
you
course.
certainly can. Absolutely. Yeah. And okay, so I got to throw out Iredell County too. I want to make sure I shout out Iredell County.
Okay.
479.
More.
Well, no, that is the answer. I was just giving you the actual answer. But yeah, so there you go. Yeah, no, you're wrong. No,
I'm wrong.
479.
Okay. So let's write it down.
500,000 or less. Isn't that wild? So in the marketplace, the wages. So that must mean that a lot of buyers are coming from out of market.
Yeah, but changing, but also talk about the greater Charlotte areas that I love. Today, I had clients that want to start investing, and they wanted me to take a look at anything under 350 in Kannapolis, China Grove, Rockwell, and Salisbury.
Rowan County.
But yes, but then it's kind of a specific area, and there were like 200 houses, which is pretty high. So I actually said, hey, let's start below 250 because you have many options, very affordable, and you can learn how to, I told you about the investing. I think real people can and should invest in real estate, and you don't have to be crazy and you can start in a safe way, start making money, and little by little you diversify. So 250 and under, and they have tons of options.
So it's possible.
It is very possible.
But you're compromising.
Well,
And that's
everything in
okay.
life is about compromising.
Then you have to, is what I'm saying. That's what we have to do in this kind of market. Because to the forward-lookingness of the market, does the market slow down here anytime soon? What do you think? Yes, no, maybe so.
No.
And is that purely based on demand? That's just based on demand, is what it is.
Everything. Demand, the attractiveness of the area, price, taxes, jobs, weather, everything.
Six Flags is moving their headquarters here from Texas. Are you a big roller coaster
Are they
fan?
going to open a park? I love a roller coaster. So
I think the other brand as part of it owns Carowinds.
Okay.
Cedar Parks, I
Cedar
think.
Park,
yeah, so Cedar Parks and Six Flags are merging. They're moving to Charlotte.
Mm-hmm. See, everybody's
moving to Charlotte.
Everybody's moving to Charlotte.
All right, so if everybody's moving here, if you maybe bought years ago and you're going to eventually become a seller, you got to maintain that property, right? Because you want it in good condition to get the top price and quality in the marketplace.
Yes.
So what's our Maintenance Monday today?
It's about pests, pest control, pest care, termite, spiders, bugs, rodents,
Critters.
all kinds of critters.
Keeping them outside so they don't come inside, and keeping them outside far enough away from your outside.
They don't come to your attic. They don't come to your crawl space. They don't eat the structure of your house.
How do you protect against pests?
I think it depends on how involved you are. So if you are not the kind of person that likes to get your hands dirty, you can hire companies that will take care of it for you. Like I have one that comes every 3 months and they spray my whole house. My house is older, so it doesn't have that little tube inside. So they spray the whole thing. And if I see anything between each application, they come back and they do it for free. Termite, you can have the baits, you can have all kinds of stuff. And if you are a self-made owner, you can do it yourself. You can spray the house, you can put the baits, you go to Lowe's or Home Depot and buy it's not that hard and it doesn't take much time, but you have to do it. You have to keep your house well maintained. It is a breathing, living machine that needs care. I'm very tough on my clients. I want them to take care of the house.
I mean, you've chastised people over their roofs already, their HVAC units, their electrical.
Because I'm very honest and open about it, and I didn't realize my daughter complained that we have branches from my neighbor touching our roof on top of her bedroom, and I'm super against trees and bushes touching the house, especially the roof. I already texted my tree guy and say, come to my house, trim the branches. I don't want any trees touching my roof. Why? Because then you can have squirrels coming from the tree to your roof, to your attic, and then it's a fortune to have people come clear not only the animals, but whatever the animals leave behind.
You've got to maintain the house in many different ways. You've got to do some adulting. Candice Shepard of Shepard Law, do you guys have an adulting package by chance for people?
We do. We call it the legit adult package because when you turn 18, the law says you are a legit adult. But,
so you're telling me I have to call your office this week.
If you have children who are 18 and older and expect to still have mommy's help, they need those documents. Otherwise, mom is not able to help because the law sees them as a grown-up. So we have the legit adult package that covers legal, financial, and healthcare decisions.
Does it mean because my daughter just turned 18 end of May, does it mean that if she signs that, I still have to financially? So kidding.
No, it's not a requirement.
Okay.
But this is a real conversation because you talked about earlier, like you and Kevin being willing to talk about death, right? And you understanding death and what that means. And so for a child to come to their parent and say, "Hey, I got a will, mom and dad, in case I die, you're going to be the executor if you're alive," right? Imagine that. That's a big thing.
It's a big thing. I typically don't have 18-year-olds do wills because they don't have anything, but they just sometimes they need help. Like the reason we started doing this is one of my very dear friends, her son was hit by a drunk driver and they had to leave the hospital to go get legal guardianship of him so that they could make his medical decisions and shut down his apartment. And things like that. And it was horrific. And there's, nobody thinks about that because, we just don't think about it.
But it is crazy to think.
But if he had those documents in place, they could have avoided that trip to the courthouse.
Oh. So they had their son in the hospital and they had to leave to try to get paperwork ready.
Yeah, they had to leave his bedside to go to court to get legal guardianship
because he was an adult.
Because he was an adult.
That is insane.
Yep, and he needed their help, and they couldn't help him without the documents. So
one of the other aspects too from estates that's important, memory care is also a very thing. And so when people become incapacitated, and essentially is what it is, right? Dementia, these kinds of things where they say they no longer have capacity. That's a very real scenario.
It happens a lot, and we have to get it done before they slide over the hill to not be able to give permission.
And so, talking about this, I always wonder, for real, it's not even a joke, but I always wonder, like, how do you know, or how does your family know when it's happening, when it's really happening? Is it too late? Because we forget stuff, but then how do you, so you have to be ready. I like being ready. So, because if you start forgetting the keys, or like, when does it happen that you're like, this is serious?
My preference is that you get it ready when you're 30. You don't wait until you're 70, 80, 90 years old. But there are, within that realm of dementia, there are periods of lucidity. So if mom can tell me what her name is, what her birthday is, what day it is, things like that. Why are we here? Do you understand what you're signing? If she can do that, and 90% of the time she's struggling, but that 10% we can get with her while she's able to tell me those things, then we can get it done. But yeah, let's maybe not wait until we're 80.
Okay, but talking about it, let's say that this is happening to someone. You come, you help them get everything ready. Person passes, something happens. Can someone challenge the document and say, hey, she was not doing okay? Why is your word enough?
Typically, yeah.
Okay.
I have people in my office that also interact with the client and can say, this is what we did to ensure that she knew what she was doing and that she had the capacity to sign in that moment.
Okay.
So yeah, it can be challenging. It doesn't happen very often, but it can happen.
Oh, it makes sense. True. Do you have, now I'm going to put you on the spot. You like putting me on the spot now.
Sure.
I will put you on the spot.
Okay.
Do you have your estate planning ready to go?
I did. Demi knows where the key is hidden, and Noah has the treasure. There's a little treasure map ready for him to go dig it up. That's it.
They make fun at home. They make fun because they know where it is. And I also have like a specific thing. Of course, I'm not going to share here, but where all my passwords are.
Yeah.
So they know how to, and they're like, stop doing it.
Look how prepared you are. This is so funny. This is just what you do with your clients, being all prepared for buyers and sellers in the marketplace. You're ridiculous. You know that? You're just ridiculous.
I am. I'm a control freak. So I'm like, if something happens to me, everything is here. The passwords is there. And I have a code for the password. So even if you find my passwords, you can't.
Look at you.
Because I have a way for them to maybe if FBI agent could, or CIA, whatever, can figure it out, but normal people would not figure out. So even if you find my password document, you cannot figure it out because there is a secret to figure it out.
Nobody's
and
more
my
prepared
family
than you,
knows
Claudia.
where everything is.
Nobody's
I
more
love that
prepared
so much.
than you. Oh, okay. Today's Real Talk, the show focused on North Carolina real estate. Candice, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Pleasure. So much
what's
fun.
the best way for people to learn more about you?
Go to our website, ShepardLawPLLC.com.
Okay, SHEPARD, 1P. That's
One
definitely,
P.
oh yeah, Shepard with 1P. Claudia, more or less next week. You want to go and predict it now? What do you think? Or
More.
no?
Because
Okay.
I'm going to get 20
More,
listings
more.
right now. Yes.
Want more in the marketplace. Hey, we didn't even get to new construction. New construction queen. What's going on out
Oh,
there?
I have
Anything
like
good?
28 closings this month. It's going to be crazy.
Okay. Well, new
Yes.
construction is alive and well, I guess. Numbers in the MLS don't match that, or do they? Or what do you
No,
think?
no,
Oh,
many are not
even
on
close.
MLS.
Uh-oh. We did talk about off-market. That's not off-market, though,
No.
right? No. It's just different.
Just a builder's game.
All right. There we go. Next time. You can tune into every show live Monday at 3 o'clock. You can also catch it on demand on the WSIC News app, wherever you get your podcasts and wherever you watch your video. Catch you next week.
Serving you better than ever before. 105.9 100.